In the middle of downtown Chicago, respite from the bustling cities may seem hard to come by. Space is a hot commodity amidst the ever-growing city skyline, but the Cancer Survivors Garden has found a home here. Located at 337 Randolph Street, the garden is a fixture within Grant Park. One of 24 Cancer Survivors Parks planned by the Richard and Annette Block Cancer Foundation, it was designed as a public place where the community could find peace. The garden is a safe haven for survivors to contemplate and envision a strong recovery. This healing aspect has direct connections to sanctuaries in ancient Greek and Roman cities. Serving as sacred hospitals, these healing sanctuaries were sites where people could seek divine intervention to cure their ailments. We can see the intersection of antiquity and modernity come to life at the garden's entrance, where two 40-foot Corinthian columns stand majestically. Originally part of the 1905 Federal Building of Chicago, these columns have survived over 100 years of city history. From supporting breakwater along the downtown lakeshore, they were saved by archivists and donated to the garden as a testament both to the resilience of these beautiful structures and that of the people who this monument commemorates. Now, the columns stand as a grand frontispiece to welcome garden viewers, with their ornate design symbolizing the triumph of cancer survivors. In between the columns, visitors pass through a large metal pavilion. This pavilion, alongside two smaller ones on the south end of the garden, reflect architectural properties of Greek and Roman temples. They are rectangular in shape, with a cella, a high podium foundation, and a triangular pediment. However, instead of classic marble columns bolstering an enclosed roof, these pavilions are metal and open air. The cellas in the garden do not house idol figures as temples once did in the ancient world. Rather, they display informative messages and plaques. Interestingly, these messages are very similar to those found in ancient healing sanctuaries, where priests would inscribe records of successful treatments and recovery onto the walls of the sanctuaries. In the present day, the Cancer Survivors Garden retains a strong reputation within the Chicago community, as evident by public responses to various struggles endured by the space. In 2012, the garden was slated for removal from the surrounding park for modernization plans, and later threatened with closure due to city budget constraints. However, community members and charities organized to keep the space maintained for future visitors to enjoy. When metal thieves took bronze plaques from the main pavilion, Chicagoans urged the Chicago Park District to replace them. And more recently, this year, when the garden entrance was vandalized, the community rallied in support of the space and demanded rapid cleanup. Even though the garden has faced numerous threats to its survival, it has remained a significant landmark in the city with deeply embedded roots in Grant Park. For nearly 24 years, the Cancer Survivors Garden has stood as a site where people can escape the busy aspects of their lives. It has truly become enshrined as a space for recovery and reflection that will exist far into Chicago's future, with a community of people dedicated to keeping the space alive for generations to come. Perhaps most importantly, the thoughtful reference to Greco-Roman architecture found here underscores an even deeper thematic harmony between the serene park of the present and the healing sanctuaries of the past. Both spaces exist to provide people with a sense of hope for their future and serve as an affirmation that death from illness is not as certain as they might believe.